Your angels have arrived, and you are them. But now I'm going to tell you why I know that, because I know that you are your angels, and I was supposed to tell you that. I'm recording this video for two reasons. I talk about authenticity, and that's what you're always looking for. We all are. We keep thinking, how can we become our authentic selves, and what is that really? And and that's what I'm always moving everyone to. But if I don't do that, then how can I expect anyone else to do it? Or how could you? Because we don't know who we're going to be when we're born. And it's always this journey that is a continual self-discovery. And so that authentic self is always something that's outside of you. You've probably never seen it and you haven't done it yet because the potential that we have is ongoing. It never ends. But I'm also doing this because I had held a channeling session yesterday, and it was for the new moon, and it was called the new moon of self-acceptance, because that's what we're all meant to do. That's the only reason that any of us would have a life, is to accept who we are authentically and to live that, because that would really give us the best life that we would want to have. But we could look at things now, we could feel that we're really lost or the world is out of place. And I'm thinking, nope, that's not what's happened. And so in the channeling session yesterday, it was brilliant. And I was so excited to give it to everyone, except I can't do that because it wasn't recorded. Now, so many things happened yesterday, technology or whatever it might have happened, or someone made a mistake. I can't tell you, except I know that there are no mistakes. And so after I went through my initial, rage for a few minutes, I don't really stay there very long, because you get upset when you get disappointed. Something didn't turn out the way that you wanted it. And I was so wanting to send everyone that session because I don't remember it, but I can tell you a lot of things that came through. Yarna said it was brilliant, but I'll tell you what I remember, and I'll tell you why it was done. But then after I went through that initial phase, and this is some of the other things that you'll find it difficult to believe, as I did as well, but that is our only difficulty, is our belief, a belief in ourselves or belief in what is possible, because we always live in this limited state of awareness of what we think we can do. But then I knew that I had been given messages that were in alignment with what was happening, what was occurring in our world, and what was occurring in your life, because I got information about that as well, which I will explain. So then I looked at the message for last year, and it said, "Your angels have arrived." So obviously there was an orchestration happening, knowing that I was going to have this disaster yesterday, or it felt that way, because then it would make me talk about things, which sometimes is really challenging for me to do, as it might be for you, because see, then becoming vulnerable and revealing our authentic selves, and that we have this guidance, could be really challenging. But now I'm going to read the message to you because I want you to have it. And then I have a couple others, because my goal is to have you understand that you can accomplish anything. And I know that that is true because that's the life that I've lived. And it's 73, almost 74 now. I can tell you that that is true. And there are no limitations in your life except the ones that you continue to hold in your consciousness. That's for all of us. That's for us individually and also our world. We can look at the world now and think, wow, things are really terrible. And I was told, no, that's not what's happening. We are here to be our angels, and that is you. So let me share this message with you, because I want you to have this first, and then I'll explain a couple of other things after we look at this. And it is this. And you see, it came through last year on October 3rd of 2023. Your angels have arrived. They have always been with you, and you are them. We are speaking to your higher guidance that you alternatively hear and then choose to ignore. As you examine your life and world now and review the message we provided 3 years ago, you will be motivated to own your angels, which means to love yourself. October 3rd, 2020. You are your angels. We will use the collective pronoun you. Keep in mind, and you will apply it to your world in its current state and your life. The restructuring you are experiencing begins with you, and you have been at it for longer than your consciousness could conceive. But each time you do it, there are certain aspects you want to move through, develop, overcome, or whatever it might take for you to experience more freedom, which is evolution. When we began communicating actively with Roger in 1988, or when he started allowing himself to hear us, Roger controlled the sessions. He would ask specific questions until we gently hinted that he might want to trust us, which would allow the information to come through, and he changed the name to Any Advice for Today. Roger knows that any communication from us will hold no judgment, and any from solely him will have judgment as you each are moving through your own. We know this time in your world is challenging, but you wanted it because you will evolve due to your experience now. You will be fine, Wilhelm. What that message means is that we each come into the world to offer something. So when we're seeing something happening in our lives or in the world, that means that there's something within us that we have yet to do because we are that powerful. But it takes us a time to move through our lives or our civilization to understand the power we each hold. But I was given this information, and that's what was challenging for me to accept, as what you have is challenging because, again, it's in front of you. It's in your consciousness. So what happens is we have consciousness that's always here. It always exists. And I'll tell you what has happened for me when I was told that I had this information, which I'm going to be doing more talks about this, which is also the reason that I am talking about this. And the next talk is going to be on October 9th, which is going to go through so many people, like probably 3 million people might hear this conversation that I'm going to have. And I was never going to do that. I'm saying this because we all hold ourselves back and become really afraid of being vulnerable. And then sometimes the universe will just push us to do something, just like the recording didn't happen. So I could be pushed to do this now so that I could really tell you the entire story. Because when I was told that I was given this philosophy for this time in our world, and it would help us really ascend individually and then collectively, accepting that was challenging. In 2021, when I first put people into this my program, and I've talked about this, I was shocked watching them come to understand who they were in so quickly, what something that took me decades to understand. But that's because I received cosmic guidance. And then when I was told that I received a message for anyone's birthday that I would meet, I received it in 2012. That made no sense either until I understood that, oh, wait a minute, there's an orchestration in the universe. There's an organization and there's an all energy, and we're energy. And so we direct what's going on in our lives through how we use the energy, but that also has an effect on our world, in our world, because we're all doing something. So it depends on what type of energy you're going to use. And so what was happening now and what is occurring now, that we're moving through a time where we're supposed to release all the old negative energy that was holding us back as individuals, but also as a civilization. And that is the work that I was given. And so what came through in the channeling session yesterday, from what I can remember, was that this work was specifically about uplifting humankind, meaning moving through racism and misogyny and all the things that we have used to keep ourselves separate and different from everyone else. And then what happens when you do that, because they used me as an example, you start to heal. And then you get younger, and then you become happier, and then you start to look at everyone and yourself in a new way. And that's why I know that you are your angels, because I got to see what was within you. Now, that was something that was also challenging for me. When I would do a channeling session and I could answer anyone's question, it was just, why can I do that when I'm just being Roger? Because we have different levels of consciousness. And then we have to understand that we will decide how much we're going to move to a higher level of consciousness within us, and then how much we can put into the world. And we're in a place now where everyone's not doing that. That's why we have so much conflict that we're seeing in the wars and all of that. But see, Wilhelm gave me that information many, many years ago as well. He said, we don't have to have wars because I was given all this information. And then if you look at on anyadvicefortoday.com in the last couple of days, especially the one that says nothing has gone wrong in your life or in the world. And there's a string of messages there that you could study forever and go through them, and you would see that it would change your mind. It would change your brain because it's only our consciousness that gets stuck in certain places. And over time, I was able to receive this guidance, and it was actually coinciding with the energetic changes in our world, which is why when I work with someone, and this just started happening, when I meet someone and I'm working with you with your birthday, I can go back to different years and find information that was relevant because we're all the same. We're all humans trying to get to the next level of who we're meant to be, but we're trying to do it in this world, collective world that has been bogged down with restrictions and limitations and biases and all of those things that we're meant to outlive now. And that was the work that I was given. And so then my Wilhelm said that there were certain things that were going to be happening, and it was all aligned. And I could see that. That's why I would receive messages in times beforehand, precognitive, let's say, and it would start showing up in the world. So I just found out that the interview that I'm doing is going to be on October 9th. And so I'm going to read you that message because it, again, was aligned and it was something else that you will understand. And then the next thing that's going to happen is October 17th, which is going to be a full moon. And I can give you that one too, because they always change when I get there. But what happened before, in terms of the day that it happens, the information is different. However, I was given the direction, let's say, of the energies of how things would be changing so that we would be able to deal with this transition a bit easier because it's been a little rocky. But let's look at this one and you'll understand a little bit more. Now, you may not necessarily believe that I received it in this way, but doesn't matter because this information will still help you no matter where you are. So this will be what will on the day that this interview is going to happen, that's going out to all these millions of people, and it says you are the answer. And this is really what I want to give to everyone. That answer you have sought for any challenges or difficulties you might have experienced in your life or witnessed in your world is within you. You come to the physical plane at the perfect time for your unfolding and that of your planet. But you must use your physical resources of consciousness, energy, and linear time to allow that ascension to manifest within you and your world. We provided a message in 2009 on this date that will aid you today and the rest of this week. It is also the reason for our live conversation with you on Saturday. You stand at a pivotal place in your life and world. All you need is to love yourself and do your job. October 9th, 2009. Your only job is to live and experience your physical life journey fully. Sometimes you get distracted and mistakenly believe that part of that job is to help others live theirs. You can never accomplish that, and your efforts in that direction are always futile. While that may temporarily distract you, it never serves your ultimate goal of expansion. All your relationships, interactions, and associations with others are always meaningful and purposeful, or they would not be there. However, their purpose is merely to provide a context to choose who you desire to be and how you desire to live your life. You soar when you let down your judgments and barriers to this information. And you can see that there is a connection that they always give me in terms of the dates. We can't see things in that way in terms of linear time, but that is how Wilhelm decided to give me this information to get us beyond our limited thinking of what is possible. And you've heard all of this before about time is just an illusion and everything is existing now, but we don't live that way. We live in this one three-dimensional existence, and that needs to function in a way that causes us all to sustain our planet. And that's what the work that Wilhelm has given me. And that is what is occurring in our world now, which is called a restructuring. And so then the other thing that's going to happen, I'm going back to Gaia. And if any of you have seen, and I'll leave the links here again, I know people have come because they've seen my interview on with George Nuri on Beyond Belief on Gaia. But now what I'm doing is I'm going back on the 19th of October to do a participate in a channeling conference, and you can all watch that, and I'll leave the links for that. You can watch it for free, and that will be a wonderful day. But I went to see, well, what was the message I was given on October 19th? Because now I'm going to be speaking to the world, 180 countries and plus an in-studio audience. But this is what I want you to understand so you understand what's happening in your life because, again, you are your angels and you're in the world now to do something wonderful. And as you do that, you put a different energy into yourself and into the world, and that's what happens. And that is pretty much the information that came through in the session yesterday because Wilhelm said we have to. The reason this works, people ask, well, why does your program work so well? And why does it get the results? Because what it does is it connects you to your authentic self. It's nothing outside of yourself. You see, it's what's within you, but we have to move through the barriers. And so the purpose is we must acknowledge that when we're born, we come in with a consciousness that has been programmed by others and it's limited and restricted and all of that. And our job is to let go of it. And at this time, we have to let go of a whole bunch of things that's globally. It's not just in one place, but it's all of us. Because then we start to understand that our actions, deeds, thoughts have energetic qualities that are putting something into the world. So we're always creating something. So on the 19th, I want you to understand this, and then I'm going to give you one more that's going to tell you why I'm doing this work and what I know is true for every single person, why I know who your angels are and that you have them. And I'll show you that one. But let's do the 19th because this is about the world. Now, this one will probably be really helpful for you today because as we look at our world, we see a lot of conflicts happening everywhere in all sorts of countries. And this message will explain why that is occurring. And again, attempt to attach all of this to energy, and then it makes a lot more sense. Okay, October 19th, 2023. Your anger, judgment, and hatred might be old. Every soul is born with embedded beliefs and ideologies that may not serve them as your planet is moving through a restructuring. We provided a message 3 years ago that will aid you now as you experience more conflict. Your pain is not new. You will gain some comfort through this message, and if you are diligent about genuinely desiring to understand what we are about to give you, your life will be easier to traverse. We have said you are currently experiencing a restructuring of the world you knew, which begins with each of you. You decided to be alive to aid you in your evolution. It will be different for each and the same. We love our cryptic sentences, but that is one you will come to understand. One of Roger's issues has been guilt, and we must say it has been typically artificial guilt, which he could not explain most times. Roger made an error in his email to his family and had horrific guilt episodes that bothered him all night. Last night, we told him to use one of our techniques, sit in it. What we meant by that is, at times, you do not know the origin of some of the difficulties you experience because they are quite old. We have said you have connections to your ancestors that are continually surface for their release. Using our sit in it technique will make sense. We had Roger observe an explanation about climate change that can apply to Roger's condition and your world. You can easily understand the importance of not leaving a child in a hot car. The scientists told you that when hot air cannot escape and it is trapped inside a vehicle, it will be harmful and kill the child. You have been that child. You placed yourself in the car, allowed the heat to accumulate, and almost killed yourself. You collectively have done it over lifetimes. So Also, apply this analogy to your planet. By using it for yourself, but using it for yourself will be more helpful. Allow yourself to breathe who you are. And again, that was challenging. We don't do that because it's a process, that came through so long ago. But to tell you how all of this happened, it was a difficult. And to tell you that healing could occur because of it, that was me having you believe that. But see, that's exactly what's happened. Over time, we can understand that we will accumulate certain ideas and beliefs, and then if we don't change them, we end up with disasters. We've all seen what's happening with our weather and climate change, and we're deciding, well, does that mean anything? Well, it's all of us who are doing it. But when we decide to love ourselves, then things start to change a little bit more. And so what I was told with this work, and this is what I'm doing, and I'm saying this now because what came through in that session yesterday was me being told, because we always have to become accountable. People who have done the work in my program so far have done such a little part. They have done 31 days, and it's changed their lives. They're not complete. And so I'm doing this because I have to say this to all of them, that they're going to have all of this information because I have 35 years, and it can change you to becoming who you're meant to be. And I know that it will change the world eventually. Because just imagine people coming out where they're happy, where they're prosperous, where they're letting go of the old stuff and they're passing that on to coming generations. That's how it changes the world. So I knew that I had that, but owning it and telling others was challenging. We'll all doubt ourselves, and you could probably see my Akashic Records readings that was done many years ago, where that was told to me then that I was given something to bring to the world that would uplift and open up the minds of others so that they could accept who they are. But this is what I want to leave you with, because if you are going to work with me or come into my work, you're going to understand this one message, because this is what has made your life valuable. And I know that everyone has this value in their life and this worth, and it just gets developed. And when they do that, they live a great life, and then they contribute magnificently to the world. And it is this message. And this is the message, and this is what I want you to know about you and your life. Your story is unique and valuable. It is unique because no other soul shares precisely your story. It holds the utmost value for you. Your story is comprised of everything your past holds, including all that has occurred for you, happened to you, everything you have done, every person you have met, and every word you have spoken. All of it has been and always will be perfect. Your only job then is to seek to know the perfection of your story. Any aspect of your particular story that you attempt to ignore, dismiss, or judge will cause you to experience some difficulty, because you are refusing to receive the information and wisdom that your story holds. Now, that is what you should come away with in your life. That's what you should know. And that's what this work has you do. And I've seen it happen. And then what happens is you heal. And I can say that because I've experienced it. The only thing I haven't done, like I've said, is put of it in there. And now I'm so excited that that is going to happen. And if you read the messages on the date that says nothing has gone wrong in your life or the world, you'll see so many others that are there that you could just study and get absorbed into you. All of this work is about getting you to understand your brilliance and what is within you, because every human has it. We've just been programmed to in different ways. That's all that ever occurs. And I know that for sure now, and this is what I am giving you. So I'm so glad you are here. Please subscribe to this channel, share it with others, and you can check out the work. It's all here. I'll leave all the links there, and also the Beyond Belief episode and the channeling conference, because they will all be wonderful and give you so much help during this time, because you're evolving into something brilliant. That's what's going on. See you soon.